What's up everybody? Tiffany Outdoors here today. It's time to work on another vivarium. Let's go. There's the hawk. Before there was a Tiffany Outdoors, there was Tiffany the farmer.
On a U-turn when possible.
No, we're not U-turning.
Hi. Hi, what are you doing? Hi, Boo.
This is our next vivarium here. And all this is a 10-gallon tank turned on its end. And down there I have my silicone, and I also have the door, the dam, and the top piece here, and I have my DIY background. This is bark, all bark, and I'll link videos in the description below on how I made this and how I cut those out. Alright, now first thing I want to do is get that background in there before I do anything else. I lay that down on its back, and I'm just going to put some dabs of silicone in here. I have this turned upside down. This is the actual top, so I'm going to try a different method. Instead of using silicone, I want to try Gorilla Glue Clear. I want to see if this cures better and see if it's less stinky than the silicone. Silicone smells terrible. It is so strong smelling that it takes a very long time for the smell to come out. I mean, for me, people say, oh, just let it air out a few days. For me, it takes about a month or two before the smell is completely gone. So I want to try this Gorilla Glue Clear and see how much success I have with it. I'm assuming this is going to take a lot longer to dry than the silicone. The silicone takes about 30 minutes for it to dry and be nice and firm. This stuff, I'm not sure how long it's going to take. And it has a smell, but it's not super strong. Let's see. 2 hours. Wow, 2 hours. Okay. Well, I'll be back in 2 hours. I'm going to weight this down a little bit on the sides, and I'll be back. I've got the top and the bottom on now. I'm going to do the hinges and then the door and then the door latch. And once I finish all of that, I'm going to come back to you guys and we're going to go ahead and plant this vivarium. The glue has dried. It's been about 24 hours, a little more, a little less. But the glue's dried. It's on there nice, strong. I love it. And there's virtually no smell. I can slightly smell the silicone that I used to glue the background on, but it's not strong at all because it's only just a few dots of it. So, oh, awesome. Now, it's time to put some plants in here. Let's do this. This here is my soil mix, and I will post a link to the video below and tell you all that's in this. In this vivarium, I'm going to do the same as I do my other ones. I'm going to first put down a drainage layer, then a mesh, then charcoal, and then the substrate. So first I want to do is put down the drainage layer, which I'm going to be using Hydroton balls. They're expanded clay. And I'll show you guys what that looks like. That's what these look like. These are super dusty, so I'm going to rinse them off first. First layer are my expanded clay beads for the drainage layer. Next, my mesh. Our charcoal layer. Now it's time to put in some substrate. Now what I'm going to do is bank this from the shallowest being the front, and then it's going to get higher and higher going towards the back. Now for some hardscapes. I feel like this dragonstone has a nice light color to it, and it'll offset and blend in well with the background with more texture. Wow, that fit together pretty nicely. I kind of like it. Now for some plants. I'm going to be using some plants that are going to grow and vine up all the way through to the top of this enclosure. And what I want to do is, or what I'm going to do is I'm going to be taking some of this thin wire that you use for flower arranging. It's super thin and it's green, so it'll also blend in. So what I need to do is make some U-shaped pins so I can pin the plants up into the background there. I've got several of these now, and I think this will be plenty. If not, I have more wire to make more. Another piece right here if I need to make more. And now I can start putting my plants in. First up is this piece of ficus pumila that I have. It's rooted. I had it soaking in some water with another plant, and it's got a couple of nice good leaves on here, and it's got a few leaves on here that don't look quite as happy, but I am going to go ahead and plant this, because look at there, there's a new growth right there. Although it's got some leaves on here that aren't quite so happy, we're going to plant this and hopefully it does well. I hope it does snap back, because look, new growth there too. It's doing very well. Here's another piece that's grown some nice roots, nice long roots. I'll plant this right next to the one that's already there. Next up, I have some pothos, and about 3 weeks ago, this didn't have any roots at all. Look at that. All I did was put it in some water. Pothos is super easy to propagate. All you gotta do is stick it in some water. The roots start growing. It's ready to plant. And this plant is the main reason why I had to make these tacks. Or these little pins. For pop of color, I've got this ruby red, which is absolutely gorgeous. It's small now, but once it takes hold, it's going to be gorgeous. A tiny little sprout for up front. Up next is some of this stuff right here called Pan Am. This stuff is beautiful. It'll give a different shade of color to look at, and it's just going to shine in here. Beautiful. Here's another beautiful, vibrant, different color pop of green. This here is called a Moon Valley Friendship plant. And look at the texture on those leaves. Isn't that gorgeous? Just absolutely beautiful. I've decided to move this little plant here further back to this corner here. I want to put some bigger plants right here in the front. Like this begonia rex. I love this stuff. Look how beautiful and red that is. Oh yes, gotta have some of that. Decided to remove this stone and add this plant in its place instead. It's doing slightly poorly right now, but once it gets in there and gets established, I believe it is going to look amazing. Looks like it's growing right out of the rocks. And look at this. How about that for some color? Those green and white leaves, beautiful. This is called White Ann. Some of these leaves look poorly, so I'm going to go ahead and trim those off. I'm going to add this rock back in. Right there. Now I have some of these rocks that are actually used for mixing up cement. But I figured that these had a nice dark gray color and it'd be a nice contrast against the dragonstone. Now to add some springtails. This was a very fun build. I really enjoyed this. I did use some of the same plants that I used in the other vivariums, and I may have mislabeled some of them. Some of the tags were missing, so I think I did get one of the plants wrong. The Rex begonia, the red one, that's not the Rex begonia. It was the plant after that. So, but anyway, I'm still learning plants. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.